Okay, how do I get the computer to show that HTML file? So I just want to start from the beginning again. So I've got my public static void main. Obviously, this is where my computer is going to start running. Now, when I run this main method, it is going to look for a second file. And that file is what I call a controller. So this controller, what it is, you just make a right click and you go for new class, and you create a class, and you can call it anything you like. I've called mine Video March, which is the project name, and then controller. That is how I called it, but you don't have to call it like that. You can call it like anything. And then what is important is you've got to put at the top, you've got to put the annotation at controller, okay? And that is how the computer knows which file contains the code that it's got to run, okay? So when I run this main method, it will look for my controller. So I've got created a class, and that class is identified as a controller. And that is how the main method knows to run the controller. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to create a very simple method, okay? This method is called public. Well, the signature is public. Return value is returned up is string. Test is the name of the method, and I'm going to put model in there. And this model is going to match what I give it and put it into my index. Now, in this particular example, I'm not bringing in any SQL code, so no SQL query result is there, but I still have to have that model as my input parameters for this method. My controller will look for it. And here I say return index2, and the index2 has got to be an index.html. It's got to be that name.html. And I've got to have it in my templates folder. And there's my HTML file. And this is going to then put that HTML file on the screen. Now I've got to have annotations here. Oh dear. Okay, so the annotation that I put above this method is get mapping, and now I give this method, I've called the method name as test, but I've given it an abbreviation or a shortcut or a similar name that I want to use to run it with. So in fact, I'm not going to run the name test, I'm going to run the name /test. And this could have been something else, it could have been whatever, okay? So, but I just keep it the same, otherwise I get confused what is what, okay? So you've got to have the slash there, and you say map my test to this shortcut, okay? So you've got to have that annotation, and you've got to create a shortcut, and it's got to start with a slash. And now I'm going to save it, okay? And now I'm going to show you how it works when I run this, okay? So this is quite complicated. Now firstly, I just want to bring up the PowerPoint. So I've got a main method, I've got a controller, and the controller displays index HTML, index whatever I called it, .html. Now I've got to click the run on my main method. It will look for the controller, and the controller will automatically display the content of the HTML file. Now I'm going to click run, and then that's not it. I've still got to go and do something else. So I'm going to show you now what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go back to my Java, and I'm going to, on my application, I'm going to click run, okay? And I'm going to run it. Okay, now it's going to run it. And here you can see it's running Spring. And I just wait for a while because I want to know that it's opened up that all the code, okay, and that it's on my, it's looking for the port that I've specified. Okay, so you can see it's working with my file and everything. So and when it says here start completed, okay, that's when I know I can now go and run that file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my internet, Windows Explorer, or to my browser, and I'm going to go to the browser, create a new I create a new tab, and what I'm going to type it, okay, so localhost, and I've got to have localhost. I've got to use the port that I've put in my application properties, okay, so I've got to make sure my port number is exactly what I had in the application properties. And now here I'm going to put /test. So the /test is the name of that file that I've created, and there you can see the file that appears. Okay, so it's very simple. So I just want to go back to my code. I have to click run on the main method. The main method goes to the controller. The controller is identified by @controller. I map my method name with an abbreviation, which is going to be the one that I use to run this. I just want to double check on my application's properties. What is my port name? Okay, and I want to know from my controller what is my method name /test. And I'm going to use that now. So go to my Explorer and I put localhost : port name /test. Okay, the name of the method, and that's what I do. And now to continue, I've got to go back to my Java, and I've got to stop my program from running, and then that's what I've got to do.